was one day when I really thought everyone was dead. I really thought maybe I'm the last one. I hadn't seen another person for days. Not a living one anyway. Loads of dead ones that were walking around. But yeah, I hadn't come across any living people. And it wasn't until I realised it was the weekend that I began to sort of figure out what was going on. The zombies over the weekend, and only during the weekend, which is quite interesting, seem to congregate in places like shopping malls, supermarkets, train stations, cinemas, football stadiums. Places like that, they'd all just sort of subconsciously float towards them. Maybe it's because subconsciously they had a embedded desire to do what they used to do as humans, or maybe in the same trail of thought, this is where they thought humans might be, this is where they thought the food might be. But what was quite good about this really was if you knew where they were going to be, you could kind of quite easily avoid them. And this is how I came to meet a man called Father Dogmeat. That's what he called himself. He was a priest. I don't know if Dogmeat was his real name, but that's how he introduced himself to me. I think he was slightly losing the plot. He seemed to really enjoy killing zombies, and he was 110% convinced that I was Jesus, that I was the Messiah. I told him that's not the case, but he always said the same thing whenever I tried to challenge him on this. He'd say, I've got it written down. On postal matters, dear boy, you may be infallible, but on a religious point like this, might you not be mistaken? And he'd always try and argue his way around things with that. He pursued it right up until he was killed in his church. You see, he strongly believed, like how the zombies would go to stadiums and shopping malls on Saturdays, he believed that some of them would come to church on Sundays. And in fairness, he was right, they did. The problem was, as they didn't have this desire to be cured, as he thought initially. He thought maybe they were coming to church because they had a desire to be cured by the Lord and return to humans. That didn't really work out, because as soon as he came close to them with holy water, they kind of just ate him. And ultimately it got really out of hand, because the thing with these zombies is once there's blood in the air, they kind of all flock to it, and they kind of ate him up really quick, and I was left with no choice really but to blow up his church. And I think that kind of proves, unfortunately for him, that I'm not the Messiah. Yeah, I was sorry I couldn't save him. It was a particular low point.